Welcome to the GasBadge Pro On-line training module number 3. In this module, I'll be discussing the operations of the GasBadge Pro. First, I would like to begin by taking a walk around the instrument. At the top of the instrument is the sensor. With having the sensor located at the top of the instrument, we are able to put the GasBadge Pro in a place like a shirt pocket. Industrial Scientific has also gone to such lengths as beveling the sensor. That way the display is protected from accidental bumps. We also have the on-off button. This is the button you would press to turn the GasBadge Pro on and off. You have the Audible Alarm, a concussion-proof rubber overmold case that protects the instrument from accidentally dropping the instrument, an infrared data link port that lets the instrument communicate with the DS2 docking station, the data link accessory, and also the infrared printer. You have the up and down buttons, allowing the user to easily step through the instrument functions. And then you have the enter button that lets the user enter into certain instrument options. Also, the liquid crystal display that utilizes languageless icons, so the display can be understood anywhere in the world. We have a frosted LED lens, so that when the instrument goes into alarm, not only will the alarm LEDs illuminate, but so will most of the top portion of the GasBadge Pro. And finally, a replaceable Gortex patch that allows the user to change out when it happens to get dirty or scratched. Industrial Scientific Corporation designs, manufactures, and sells instrumentation for the preservation of human life and property. Recognizing this fact, it is recommended that the user send the instrument through 4 basic steps of operation to ensure maximum operational readiness and capability before each day's use. The first step of operation is to turn on the instrument. Along with turning the instrument on, you also want to make sure to check the battery status and see if you have enough battery life remaining to perform your duties. The second step of operation is to zero the instrument. And what zeroing means is that you're giving the sensor a baseline to know what fresh air looks like. For example, I'm going to zero the instrument so that my toxics will read 0 in a fresh air environment. And if I have an oxygen sensor in my GasBadge Pro, that particular sensor will calibrate to the concentration of oxygen within a fresh air environment. The most important thing that I can tell you, the user, is that when zeroing, make sure to zero the instrument in only a fresh air environment. If the GasBadge Pro is zeroed in a non-fresh air environment, then the sensor readings will be skewed. The third step of operation is to perform the functional test, also known as the bump test. And a bump test is defined as a brief exposure of a known concentration of gas, making sure that the instrument goes into alarm. During the bump test, you want to make sure that you feel the vibration, see the visual alarm, as well as the audible alarm. I look at the bump test as being a confidence booster for yourself, to know that when you're in an atmosphere and there's some bad gas, that you know definitely that your instrument will without a doubt go into alarm, letting you know that you need to get out of that area. And last but not least, the fourth step of operation, which is clearing the peaks. And why clearing the peaks are important is because of the fact that the peak reading screen allows the user to see the highest concentration of toxic gases if a toxic sensor is installed, and the lowest concentration of oxygen if an oxygen sensor is installed. And those peak readings will continue to stay in the instrument until the user clears them. The peak readings are stored in what we call non-volatile memory. And what that means is by just turning the GasBadge Pro off and back on again, the peak readings are still stored in the instrument. Even taking the battery out and putting it back in will not clear the peak readings. It reminds me of a black box in an airplane. The reason why I put the peak readings in the non-volatile memory is, say we have an alarm event. and the GasBadge Pro is in alarm for so long that the battery has died. Well, now someone can come back and grab the instrument, put a new battery in it, and directly go to the peak reading screen and see what the highest concentration of gas was that the user was exposed to. Now, at the beginning of the day, if the user forgot to clear those peaks, how will they know if they are viewing their peaks or someone else's? That's why it's very important to clear the sensor peaks before beginning your job. Now, to turn the GasBadge Pro on, the user will need to press the on-off button until the display turns on and the GasBadge Pro emits a short beep. From there, the user can now let go of the on-off button. After initially turning the GasBadge Pro on, the user will see the startup screen. At this screen, it's a good practice to just check and make sure that all segments are lit up. From the startup screen, the user will see the software revision number of that particular instrument. They will see how many days since the last calibration, or how many days until a calibration is due, depending on how the GasBadge Pro is set up. Then the user will see the countdown screen. Once the countdown screen is done, the user is now into the real-time operation screen. The arrow on the left is showing you a status indicator. A check mark tells the user that everything with the GasBadge Pro is currently okay. If there's an exclamation point, then that tells the user that something is wrong with the instrument. The next arrow shows a battery runtime indicator. This icon lets the user know how much battery time they have left within their GasBadge Pro. The arrow on the right shows the sensor gas reading and also what the unit of measurement is. And in the upper right hand corner of the display shows the user what particular sensor is installed in their instrument. Now, as I stated before, the user wants to zero the instrument, which is the second step of operation. Remember to only perform the zeroing function in a fresh air environment. And to zero the instrument, the user will have to press the up button 2 times. From there, they should see a 0 with a slash through it blinking. Once the user sees the 0 with a slash through it, they are going to want to press the enter button. Once the user presses the enter button, they will see the 0 with a slash through it stop blinking, and then a clock symbol appears, and that symbol will start to flash as well. After the zeroing is complete, the GasBadge Pro will emit a short beep and ask the user if they want to calibrate the instrument, showing the icon in the lower left-hand corner like that of the display on the right. The user can then wait for the GasBadge Pro to time out, or they can press the on-off button to get out of this menu. What the user doesn't want to do is press the enter button when they see the calibration gas bottle icon, because that will put them into the calibration mode. Let's take a look at how to zero the GasBadge Pro. Most importantly, you want to make sure to only zero the instrument in a fresh air environment. To zero the instrument, you're going to want to press the up button once. You should see a 0 with a slash through it blinking, and you're going to press the enter button. From there, you're going to see the clock symbol flashing, and this is just letting you know that the instrument is in a zeroing mode. After the zeroing process is done, you're going to see a check mark in the upper left-hand corner, and the instrument is going to emit a short beep. From there, the instrument is going to ask you if you want to go into a calibration mode. What you're going to want to do from here is either press the on-off button or let the instrument time out. And in this aspect, we're actually going to let the instrument time out. Now onto the third step of operation, which is the functional test, or the bump test. Prior to each day's use, Industrial Scientific recommends that a bump test be performed on the GasBadge Pro. A bump test is defined as a brief exposure of the monitor to a known concentration of gases for the purpose of verifying sensor and alarm operation. If an instrument fails to operate properly following a bump test, a full calibration should be performed prior to use. With the bump test feature enabled, the user must press the up button 3 times. The user will then see the word bump flashing, letting the user know they are now in the bump test mode. Once the word bump is flashing, the user must now press the enter button, and they will see the numbers start to flash, as well as the letter B show up on their screen, just like the display on the right. Once the user has pressed the enter button, they must apply the calibration gas. They will see the display on the instrument start to rise, much like the display on the right. Once the GasBadge Pro is done performing the bump test on the sensor, and the sensor passes the bump test, the instrument will emit a short beep and go back in the real-time operation screen, just like the screen we have on the right. To perform a bump test, the user must have a standard flow regulator, the user will also want to ensure that the regulator they are using has a flow rate of 0.5 liters per minute. The bump test can also be performed using a bumper gas cylinder, which is an aerosol-based bottle where the user would just simply press the trigger and wave the gas along the top of the sensor. Let's take a look at how to bump test the instrument using the menu version. What you want to do is press the up button 2 times. Press the up button once, and you'll see the 0 with a slash through it blinking. Press the up button again, and you'll see the word bump flashing. From here, you're going to want to press the enter button. You'll see the letter B in the upper right hand corner, and the calibration gas icon flashing in the lower left hand corner. You're going to want to open up the regulator on the bottle, and then apply your cal cup. From there, you're going to see the screen on the GasBadge Pro increasing. You're going to wait for the GasBadge Pro to finish the bump test. From there, you'll see a check mark in the upper left-hand corner, and you'll see the instrument emit a short beep. From there, you're just going to want to wait for the GasBadge Pro to go back into the real-time operation screen, and the bump test is finished. If the bump test feature in the GasBadge Pro is disabled, there is still one other way to perform a bump test, and that's the manual version. What you want to make sure is that you're in the real-time operation screen. Then from there, you're going to want to open up the calibration gas bottle's regulator, apply your cal cup, from there, you're going to want to make sure that the sensor's display increases. You're going to want to make sure to check for a low alarm and high alarm. And once the user's satisfied, they can remove the cal cup, turn off the bottle of gas, let the GasBadge Pro's readings decrease, and the bump test is finished. And finally, the fourth step of operation, clearing of the peak readings. If the user is trying to clear the peaks, they must first press the up button 4 times, and then they see the mountain peaks with the arrow pointing right. The screen on the left shows the user what the peak reading screen would look like if they had a toxic sensor installed in the GasBadge Pro, and the screen on the right shows them what the screen would look like if the user had an oxygen sensor installed. If the user is trying to clear the sensor peaks, they will have to press the Enter button. Once the user presses the Enter button, if the user has a toxic sensor installed, the reading will go back to all zeros, just like the screen on the left. And if the user has an oxygen sensor installed, the reading will show 20.9, which is the percentage by volume in a fresh air environment, just like the screen on the right. The following video shows the user what a low alarm indication would look like with the GasBadge Pro. The following video shows the user what a GasBadge Pro's high alarm indication would look like. If a sensor is exposed to a gas concentration higher than that of its measuring range, the GasBadge Pro's screen will display OR, letting the user know they overranged that sensor. With the oxygen sensor and all toxics, this condition will clear automatically once the gas concentration goes back within its measuring range. The user can also find out when a calibration is needed to be performed. The user can set the GasBadge Pro up to show how many days it's been since the last calibration, or how many days until the next calibration is due. It all depends on how the user wants this option to be displayed. If the user wants to see this screen, they must press the Up button just once. This screen shows the user how many days it's been since the last calibration has been performed. If the user sees this screen and they see the triangle pointing up, this tells the user how many days they have until the next calibration is due. The GasBadge Pro also records the time-weighted average. The user can view the time-weighted average by pressing the Up button multiple times until TWA is shown, just like the one shown in this screen. If the time-weighted average is exceeded, then the GasBadge Pro will go into a TWA alarm mode. If the user wants to check this screen, they can again press the Up button multiple times until they see this screen, shown with the alarm indication as well as the letters TWA. The GasBadge Pro also records the short-term exposure limit. The user can view the short-term exposure limit by pressing the Up button multiple times until they see the letters STEL appear. If the short-term exposure limit is exceeded, then the GasBadge Pro will go into a short-term exposure limit alarm. If the user wants to see this screen, they can press the Up button multiple times until they see the screen shown with the alarm indication as well as the letters STEL. The GasBadge Pro also has a data logging option. The instrument will continue to record the gas readings the instrument sees within a specified amount of time. The user can create a new data logging session by pressing the Up button multiple times until they see the tape icon appear just like the one shown. If the user wants to create a new data logging session, they can press the Enter button and the numerical value will step up 1 and a new data logging session is started. The GasBadge Pro's battery is a replaceable CR2 lithium battery that lasts a minimum of 2,600 hours. The battery runtime indicator located in the lower left-hand corner indicates how much battery life is remaining. This screen shows that there is about 100% of the battery life remaining. This screen shows the user they have approximately 50% of the battery life remaining. This screen shows the user they have approximately 25% of the battery life remaining. Once the battery goes blank, the instrument will emit a periodic beep, letting the user know they need to replace the battery. If the user continues to use the GasBadge Pro to the point where the battery doesn't have enough life left, the display will show an exclamation point and also the word fail, letting them know that the GasBadge Pro's battery has failed. If this condition occurs, the battery must be replaced. To turn the GasBadge Pro off, the user must press and hold the on-off button. The user will then hear 5 short beeps, and the display will go blank. Once this happens, the instrument is now shut off.